It was my daughter who first made me come across the word minimalism, but at that time I didn't like it at all. I couldn't see how this could fit into my life. My life was so far away from the thing that I see that minimalism stand for. And the thing she showed me was people who have one spoon, one knife, one fork, one plate, and they have the whole life in a backpack. They could also pack their bag in just 1 hour and leave. That was so far away from where I was standing, who had a child, apartment, a work. I didn't like the word minimalism when I first seeked for that word. But when I changed it and more seeked for it decluttering minimalism and slow living, I more understand that minimalism is different for everyone. And when I seeked for mothers who was minimalism, I more understand what the word meant and that I could implement this in my life also. And now I call myself a minimalist for a couple of years. And in today's video, I want to talk about the benefits that I get from being a minimalist. But I want to start with the background to it. And I have been cluttering for around 19-20 years now. And I have never regret anything I have taken out. But when I started to declutter this 19-20 years ago, I didn't know where I'm gonna get rid of the stuff. So I throw them in the trash. I didn't know what to do with the stuff. That's why I did like that. On that time, when we declutter clothes, we give it to the church. So we helped families who didn't have so much money. No one talked about where we're gonna give the stuff we don't need. And we talk about 20 years ago, and the second-hand market had grown so much since then. And I don't know if it even was the second-hand market to talk about 20 years ago. So the only thing I regret is that I took the stuff to the trash. After this, I continued decluttering and I continued bring in more stuff to my home. And what happened when we continue bring in more stuff to our home, we have to declutter more and more and more. I brought in a lot of stuff to my home, and especially after I start to work, because I earn my own money and then I start to buy stuff, and it was a lot of stuff. Many people I see here on YouTube, they talk about I get rid of 85% of my belongings. I probably get rid of over 100% of my stuff because I changed the stuff so many times. And also I don't have so much stuff left now that I have had since I was a child. So I think I changed the stuff in the home a couple of times under the year. I just accumulated more and more stuff, and I didn't know the word hoarder then, but I know now that I probably was a clean hoarder. And what do I mean with a clean hoarder? I grew up in a family where it was a lot of stuff, but all the stuff they had their home. Everything is neat and organized in the home. And my parents, they still live like that. They have a lot of stuff, but everything have a home and everything is organized and everything is hidden beside the stuff in the bookcase. I also had it like this. You have so much stuff in the bookcase that you don't see the stuff. The stuff is neatly organized and it have its place, but it's just so much that you don't see the stuff. But as my parents, I also always have it cleaned. My stuff was always cleaned. The room was always cleaned. I should say I was a clean hoarder mess. Somehow when I had everything out, in my head I probably was thinking that I need to use my stuff, and I use them when I have them out on display. But it was just so much. But the video is about the benefits I see with being a minimalist, and also the backside I have seen of being a minimalist. And one of the biggest impact this had on me is that it's so much easier to clean. It's so much easier to maintain my home, my stuff, and to clean everything. And that's just a fact. The less stuff we have, the less we have to clean. Now I maybe need 2 hours to clean instead of 2 days. Before I could take a whole weekend and just clean. I don't have to do that now. I had to say no because I needed that 2 days to clean my stuff. And I also think that I take care of my stuff more because I have what I have and I'm more intentional with what I'm buying. But at the same time, the world don't go under for me if I break something, because I realized that the stuff is not worth everything. So when I break a glass now, I don't be upset and angry because it's just a piece of stuff. Before, this was the world to me. I went angry, upset, sad, because it was my stuff who went broken. And I think at that time, the stuff owned me and I didn't own the stuff. And we can also see it from the financial part, that when we buy stuff with more intention, we don't buy stuff we don't need. We buy stuff we need, we know we're gonna love, we know we're gonna use. We minimalists do mistakes also sometimes. This happen. But we think more about the stuff we buy. So we don't just bring stuff into our home that we know who gonna sit in a corner and never be used. You buy something and then it sits in your hallway. It don't come away from the bag. I heard of many people who do that. If it was a mistake, then we get rid of the mistake. I also need to say that the financial for me now is not good, and it have nothing to do with being a minimalist. It have to do that I only work 50% because of my sickness, and I have to provide for my family now. And I also have the dog now I need to provide for. If I was not a minimalist, now when I only work 50% and still have to pay for everything, I should not manage to handle this. If I looked back to myself, if I was in this situation 20 years ago, I should be in a much more bad situation with the financial, because minimalist has learned me and live with what I have. It's also more calm to be a minimalist. I have time to do stuff I didn't have time to do before. And one of the things is that I have time to take my son to different sports. I have time to sit there and look when he do his sports. Now it's floorball and football. I have time to sit there and look at him and enjoy him playing. And I didn't have that time before. I should never take myself that time before, because I always was stressed over my stuff, my lists, what I have to do, what I have to accomplish. And I don't see that anymore in myself. I just see that I have time to do stuff I want to do now. And it's more peace and calm. Before I was so exhausted just by looking at my stuff. Now I'm exhausted on my fatigue I get from a treatment. So I'm still exhausted, but that have still nothing to do with my stuff. That have to do with my sickness. But as I say, now I can sit there and relax and look at he playing, and I don't have to think of the fact that I need to go home and do a lot of stuff. I have decluttered so much. The maintenance now are so low that I have time to do other stuff. I'm much more flexible now than I was before, especially when I was a clean hoarder. Because when I was a hoarder, I needed to be home and take care of my stuff. I don't have to be home and take care of my stuff now anymore. It's always hard to get time for yourself when you have children, dogs, other things to do. Even for me, especially I have a puppy. But I get time for myself when I take my walk with the dogs in the forest. That is the time when I don't take my phone with me. I just walk and think. And just a couple of days ago, I was out for 2 hours walking with the dogs and I didn't bring my phone. And that is so relaxing for me to not have to be on my phone the whole time. And we're gonna talk more about the phone later when I come to the backside of being a minimalist. It's also go really fast now for me to go through my home and declutter my stuff. When you start your journey, you often have to use a whole year of decluttering so you don't burn yourself out. I come so far now, and with this being a minimalist, that I go through my home and declutter my whole home in just a couple of hours. I feel good that I can do that, and I also know exactly what I have. It can be overwhelming for me also with decluttering. I think it is for the most people, because we are attached to stuff. That's just how it is. Some stuff is harder than other, but it's easier to maintain the home, declutter the home, clean the home as a minimalist with little stuff compared to when I was a clean hoarder. That was so overwhelming, it was so tough, but I continued declutter because I wanted to take down my inventory. But I didn't realize I have to stop buying stuff. It's also more peace and calm now. I'm more relaxed in my home when I don't have to look to all my stuff. And the stuff take up space in our mind, even if we don't see it. So don't think about going hide them in the cabinets, on the attic, in the basement, storage space outside in the garden, because your brain know that the stuff is there. And that makes us tired and exhausted, because back in our head, we know about it, even if we don't think about it the whole time. So let's talk about the bad side then that I have seen about being a minimalist. And the first thing is that if all people in the whole world was minimalist and only buy stuff that we actually 100% need, a lot of work should disappear. Because there is so many people working in stores that there should not be work for them if people didn't buy anything. Even if the work go down, it's still beneficial to be a minimalist. There needs to be an earth to live on, and we destroy it right now with all our stuff, especially the plastic. Another side I have seen about being a minimalist is maybe not a bad side, but it's maybe me who need to find something else to do. But I'm gonna be honest, it's quite boring. It's quite boring because I can sit in my sofa and have nothing to do. I can sit there and think that, is it something I can do? No, I have done everything. I have nothing to fix, nothing to do. Everything is in order, everything is clean, and that is quite boring. I think I need to find something. I think the problem is me. I need to find something to do instead. Because right now, I just pick up my phone and I look for YouTube videos. I need to start focus on my goal for this year, 2024. And this is to clear out the clutter from my electronic devices. And this is just a small problem in the big world who have a lot of problem right now. But this is my problem, and that is when I sit there and think, okay, maybe I should take my computer and start to work on my goal. But this is my old computer who died the whole time, so I need to have the charge in the whole time I use it. Then the charge don't reach, so I need to sit somewhere else instead. And then I just stay in the sofa with my phone. So the backside is that I start to use my phone a lot more and look for my phone a lot more since I was being a minimalist, because I'm bored and I have nothing to do. When I was a hoarder, it was always something to do, because I needed to take care of my stuff. This is the two things I see so far who is not good with being a minimalist, but I still think the beneficial of being a minimalist is better than not being it. So I still recommend it for everyone. If you live the minimalist life you want to live, to be in tension with the stuff you buy, care about the environment, not bring in stuff you don't need, and want to fix the financial, then I think you should go for being a minimalist. But at the extreme side, I think it's really hard, if you are a mother, have a family, to live the extreme side of the minimalist. I think maybe you can do that for a short time. But probably if I was 90 now, didn't have children, that maybe should be something for me. Live my life in a backpack and travel around the world. But the minimalist I'm going for is the family minimalism, that I want to call it. And that is that everything we have, we use, we love, we cherish, we care about, and that is good for me. I hope this video helped you to see the benefit of what minimalist is doing for me. And I hope you also can find that this can be good even in your life. But it is a long process, and I don't think we declutter our life in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, even in 1 year. This is an ongoing process. And just stick to your goal, because this is what I did when I start to realize that I need to change. I think this is an ongoing process for a really long time. And as I say, for me, this have taken me 19-20 years to come to this state that I am in now. But if you want to do it a little bit faster than me, a really big thing is to stop buying more things. Be intention what you buy. Stop buying the purchase you don't need. Think about it for a while. Do I really need this? Look around in your home if you can find stuff to use in different purpose that it was not made for. And then you can see also that maybe you don't need to buy this thing you have been thinking of. Maybe you can use something else for that. Good luck, and put a comment if you want, and I'm gonna try to help you if you have any questions. And I just want to say also, I really appreciate your support. So if you're not subscribed, please do that. And we're gonna continue this journey together. We're gonna be more intention about what we buy, and stop put all our free time in cleaning. And I see you in the next video. Bye bye.